Capricorn, welcome to your 3-month overview, April, May, and June. I hope you're well. I hope you're fabulous. Let's jump on into it, starting with your top line. The months are laid out in the coordinates to the power number associated with that power card. So, 4, April, the Emperor. 5, May, the Hierophant. 6, June, the Lovers. If you did not know, all signs have power numbers as well as power cards, and they can also represent the month, right? So April, May, June. This time I'm also including a placement for the Sun. I want an idea of what it is that makes you happy. Is that being achieved? And if not, why? What's going on? The Tower. Anything that is unexpected or untoward that we should know about over the next several months. And then Judgment. Any decisions that you might need to make that are imperative, coming from within you, outside from you, from the universe, lessons, that stuff. Okay? So, starting with April. Show me Capricorn in April, please. What's going on, please, for Capricorn in April? Like always, take what resonates, leave what does not, but do keep in mind, most of this is future-oriented. It's supposed to be, okay? So it may not resonate with you straight away, all right? I will see, of course, elements of the past, and as much as it's going to make sense to the board, I will look at it, but I don't want to dive into it, okay? What's going on, please? Show me Capricorn in April. Show me. Show me Capricorn in April. Show me Capricorn in April. Show me Capricorn in April. Ten of Cups, Ace of Swords, Two of Pentacles. Okay. Well, you know you want happiness. This is a solid truth in your mind, but it's kind of like, how do I get it? And Two of Pentacles. I know I want Ten of Cups, Christina. I know I want emotional harmony. I know I want that fabulous, delicious relationship energy that is healthy and reciprocal. I know that. Ace of Swords. Do I do it? Two of Pentacles. I don't know. You know, it's kind of like, I still haven't found what I'm looking for, but I know what I'm looking for. Okay. All right. I still see you doing that in April. Okay. And that looks like a goal that you want to achieve. Emotional harmony. The rainbow, right? We do. We want that. We know this. What does that look like, though? What does that look like? So it's activity, and I see it. You're trying to engage with that goal. But we haven't seemed to find our footing in that. Okay. Let's explore that a little further. Can I get more on this? Can I get more on this, please? Can I get more on this process? Why is it difficult? Why haven't we found our footing? What's going on here? Waiting, temperance, giving it patience, and being firm. Seven of Wands, boundaries, that's okay. Standing up for yourself. That's interesting. Well, honey, I see you doing a lot of waiting. A lot. Like a lot. Trying to show yourself patience. But then I see you getting defensive. Seven of Wands. Now, it's a good thing to have boundaries. I would never dispute that, 100%. It is a good thing to have boundaries and to stand up for yourself. And, you know, be healthy, that kind of thing, 100%. I don't dispute that. But it seems like when it's time to kind of pick a foot, you know, am I going to try this out or am I going to try that out? You get defensive. You get a little stiff. You're showing me a lot of waiting. I'm willing to wait for the right thing or the right situation or the right person before I put more of myself into it. But then you kind of reject it when something is presented to you. Okay. Where's that coming from? I'm not going to look into it. That's past orientation. But the Capricorn I'm looking at says, I want to find the right kind of love. I want to find the right kind of happiness. I know this. And it's a good thing, and it's a healthy thing, and I agree with you. But planting one of those pentacles and making them stick has proven hard for you. And then you're like, well, I'm going to go back to waiting. I'm going to go back to waiting. Whatever this was, nah. That's a nah. You know, I'm not going to put any more into that. Let's go back to waiting, please. More patience. Just need more patience. And then the process seems to start over again, where the boundaries go up and the pushy, offy energy comes up, the defensiveness, okay, and a little bit of blocking here. So you could say that you are being very, very picky, very, very selective. Is that helping you? That's for you to know. That's for you to think about. I see your goal. Your goal is beautiful, and I like your goal. I do. But there's so much waiting involved and not really putting yourself into any one thing when it presents itself. And then you're like, I'm just going to wait some more. I'm going to wait some more for the right thing or the right opportunity, and I'll know to invest in it. But then you block it. Okay, so something to think about. There's a difference between having boundaries and being selective. Okay? Big difference. You know, being too picky versus having boundaries are two different things. People try to conflate the two in order to justify their constant rejection of others. I don't know that you're doing that necessarily, but I can kind of see a process here that says once something introduces itself, put a little bit into it, overthink it. No, let's go back to waiting. That's not the one. Something to think about. It's not an accusation. That's just what's here. So if that's not you, then it's not you. That's it. No need to be offended. All right. Show me May. Show me May, please. What's going on for May? Show me May. Show me May. Show me May. Show me May. I feel like you're holding out for one thing, and I don't know what that one thing is to you. I really feel like you're holding out for one thing. I see your goal, but that goal's, I'm going to hold out for that one special thing. Well, what is that? And are you applying it to just one person? Or are you being open-minded? I don't know. It's something to think about. The Chariot, Three of Swords. It hurts. You just want to be happy. You just want to be happy, honey. You just want to be happy. You know? You seem to know what makes you happy personally. And this is where you get frustrated. Your Chariot, your best, most beautiful vehicle for love. Okay, that moves us forward. There's pain in there. You find it hard to literally move your heart forward. To give it permission to move itself forward. To actually express itself. You, personally, happy as a clam. You personally, you know how to see to you. You know how to fulfill your own needs in terms of the emotional quality. I'll have no doubt. But when it comes time to let that Chariot out, okay, and run on the road top speed, it slows down considerably because there's still pain in there about the momentum actually allowing your Chariot to move forward, allowing your heart to move forward is different than you being happy with yourself. You know how to take care of you. And part of what would make you happy is to allow yourself to move forward in love. But then when it actually comes time to do some investment, real world activity, I'm going to go back to waiting. That comes from pain. Giving yourself permission to move forward, the Capricorn I'm looking at defaults to waiting. Okay? Not because you haven't, quote unquote, found the right one. I'm sure you haven't found the right one. You haven't given yourself permission to find the right one. So yeah, in that Capricorn's mind, you are absolutely correct. You have not found the quote unquote right one. Because you don't allow the best part of you to move forward or speak for you. Okay? So I know that you are probably goal-driven, no doubt, of course. And that you say that you're patient. Okay? and that you're willing to push off the wrong one. That's a lot of wrong ones. Okay. There's a part of you, the best part of your heart, the biggest part of your heart, again, that authorizes the actual movement to move forward. There's 3 swords in there. That vehicle's not going to get very far. But it would personally please you if it could make more progress. It would make you happier, energetically speaking. Okay? Something to think about. Because you have good goals in you, honey. You have good love in you. But you have to believe in that in order to actually take an investment seriously, to actually take someone else's energy seriously and allow yourself to invest in it in a way that actually starts to show you results instead of you kind of like talking yourself out of your goal every time you interact with somebody. Now, I don't know how far this goes. It might have been once or it could have been multiple times. But I see you over and over again defaulting to, I'll just wait. Thanks for playing along, but I'm going to wait. So you have beautiful goals and people just keep not meeting that goals. And I think it comes from a place where you don't allow your hearts to move forward fully. Okay? Again, it's not an accusation. But I can kind of see a process over the spring. You have beautiful feelings in you. And you have a very strong sense of I can be patient and wait for me. These are good characteristics. I just don't want it to work against you. Make it work for you, not against you. Okay. I want you to have boundaries. But again, don't confuse, well, that's just not working out, or I'm just not into them, or I'm just not feeling the chemistry, or then, I'm just, etc. It's not the same thing. You know. It's just not the same thing. Sometimes we have to take little steps to allow our heart to open up more, but we do indeed need to take more of those little steps, get past that 2 of Pentacles, you know. I'm not telling you to, don't force yourself to connect with anyone you generally don't want to, but also try to give someone else a fair shot too, you know. And then don't get hung up on one person either, because you seem to have very specific goals in the general sense of happiness. And are you trying to tie them specifically to one person and you kind of reject all others? Okay? Or is it that just no one, quote unquote, meets those goals? And it's not tied to anyone specifically either. I can't quite tell which way it's going. It's a lot of waiting. Show me June. Eight of Swords, 3 of Wands. You don't know that you're waiting. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know that you're waiting. And here's the thing. You're like, once I see the next thing, next person, next object, next career goal, whatever it is, and I gravitate towards it, then I will blast myself wide open. It's conditional. You're putting conditions on you about how you move or navigate through love. You are putting conditions on you. You don't know that you're waiting. You don't know it. You really cannot see that you are waiting or that you have this particular pattern. Okay? Because it's kind of like, once it's obvious to me, Christina, because your goal is obvious, but you finding someone to meet you in that goal is not. It's like, no, this is my goal. Okay, but that goal, in order to achieve it, has to exist in the human form somewhere. And it's kind of like you're not seeing a goal in anybody, or you have focused it on one person. And it's not happening with that one person. I can't tell. For some of you, it's a little bit of both. Anyway, you don't know consciously that you're waiting for whatever that perfect thing is to you, that perfect person, that perfect situation, that perfect circumstance, that perfect job, whatever it is. You don't know consciously that you're waiting. But it's kind of like when I do see it, Christina, boom, there I go. But I'm not doing boom, there I go until I know it's absolutely 100% in front of my face and I can't mistake it. So this is how we end up not making movement. This is how we end up not investing even in the smallest of ways. Okay? Because we're so convinced we know what love looks like, we're not asking ourselves, am I engaging in this to see that I feel it? Am I just concentrating so hard on what it looks like instead of the experience of it? Because I don't see you allowing yourself too much movement where it counts in order to find out if indeed any sort of love cup is right for you. It's just, I'm pretty sure it's not you. I'm going to go back to waiting. It's kind of like that. So you seem to be fixated on a horizon that you cannot see. Okay. You also don't seem to realize how much time you've put into waiting. And all that waiting is kind of just breaking your heart further. Because the bigger part of you wants love. But I don't see you applying your goal to anyone. It's like, I can't see that goal in them, therefore they're rejected. Okay, but how much are you giving them to see if indeed the love goal resides in them? I don't see much of room on your part to give that situation to breathe, to grow, to invest. So it's like, it's not immediately apparent to me. It's not immediately in front of my face. Therefore, no. So I don't know what the magic bullet is for you, but it seems like that's what you're waiting for. It's almost like you're telling me, Christina, dear universe, I'm open to anybody, but not really. See what I'm saying? Because your goal is beautiful and it's huge, and it could apply to a lot of people. You know? I'm open to anybody. You know that? You know how somebody says that? I'm open to anything. But they're not really. They actually have very strong, specific ideas of what they're open to. And they only seem to gravitate towards that, even if it's just a little bit. You know, I'm open to anything. And then the opposite tends to be true. It's kind of like that. It's like you're saying, I'm open to anybody. I'm open-minded. I'm willing to try it out. No. Not really. And I know where that comes from, and it is going to add to your pain in that sense of waiting, that you're not acknowledging that you're doing it. Okay, you're not. Again, it's an unconscious thing. Waiting on love, waiting on love. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I know what I want, and I want to see it in someone specifically, but I'm not really giving them a chance either. So this is a lot of hot foot energy. I do, I don't, I do, I don't, I do, I don't. But I also know what I want. Okay. So let's keep that in mind, because you seem to have opportunities around you, and I don't see them being taken seriously or really tried, you know? And your actual movement is constantly prohibited. Your desires are straightforward, but your movements in reality are prohibited, except for one thing. You default to waiting. Okay? There's another part of you that would like to go, go, go. And then you go, no, no, no. So let's keep that in mind. You say you know what you want, and that you are open to suggestions. Then allow yourself to prove it. Okay? Love doesn't always look like what we're convinced it looks like in our eyes. And whatever that face looks like, or that person's body, or the occupation, or whatever it is, it comes from another place. So if you know that's true for you, it also means it's true for someone else. Okay? You could be the ideal definition of what harmonious love is to someone else, but if they say, well, that's not what they look like, and shut you down, how would that make you feel? Okay? So let's not try to tie ourselves to what love's supposed to look like, or what we are convinced it's supposed to look like. This is where experience comes in. That's where that pentacle energy is, which you know all about, comes into play. Actually trying it. That way you know it's legit. All right. I'm going to get off my soapbox. Oh, I want you to go out, honey. I want you to have some adventures. Your spirit wants to go out. Your heart wants to go out. You know, you've done the waiting thing. Engage. Stop looking so hard. Just allow yourself to experience. You know? Just allow yourself to experience. You say you're open, prove it. Prove it to yourself. There's fear in here, honey, I think, about actually making the thing happen. Sometimes it gets overwhelming. I think there's a fear here in actually making the goal happen. I do. Because then you'd have to put yourself into it. And if you did that, you'd have to open yourself up to possibly being hurt or rejection or imperfection, which I know is very hard for you. News for you, there's no such thing as perfection. But, yeah, I hate seeing you waiting, honey. You look like that person who's looking out perpetually on a sea cliff. One day, my grand love will come to me. To hell with all these villagers behind me. They suck. They're somewhere out there in that never-ending, fuzzing sense of the sea. That's where true love is. Not the realistic opportunities behind me that actually exist on planet Earth. Somewhere out there. In the vague. That's what I'm saying. It's like you're holding out for a realistic notion, but in an unrealistic way. Okay. So it's a little contradictory. It's a little back and forth. I want you to keep that in mind. Show me the sun, please. Show me the sun, please. Now, maybe you're right. Maybe all the local villagers suck. I got it. Maybe you got something there, but that means it's on you to put yourself out there, not just wait. Because, you know, guess what? It doesn't look like anyone's rolling in mysterious anytime soon. The sun, Knight of Swords, the star. I know. I know. You have a beautiful dream inside you. I said that from the very beginning. You have a very beautiful dream in you, and I know that you don't hesitate when you feel that you are acting in accordance to your dreams and your life path and your sun. You're telling me you wouldn't even hesitate, you wouldn't falter. I understand. You say you know what your sun is and you're willing to back it up, you know, and that's beautiful. The Knight of Swords, the star, justice. Your desires are simple, beautiful, fair, and you say you would not falter. I completely believe you. I do. Again, it's like you're waiting for the perfect thing, and the perfect thing, whatever that looks like to you, keeps not showing up because you're like, Christina, if I had the perfect thing, okay, if I had the perfect thing, not only would it make me happy, I wouldn't hesitate if it was the perfect thing. So what does perfection look like to you? What you're seeing with your eyes? Or what you're experiencing with other people, because what you're experiencing with other people isn't realistic. There's very little contribution there to actually try to develop something. So you go back to waiting, idealizing the perfect thing and how you would take action towards it. So again, I can't tell if you are married to this image of the perfect thing and no one's meeting it, or you're fixating on someone who just isn't coming through like that. In which case, they can't be the perfect one. How could they be? If this is what you understand desire and balance to be, and you're perpetually waiting on someone else, how can it be perfect? So I don't know which Capricorn you are. Perhaps you're a little bit of both. You have a beautiful goal, but you're not applying it to anyone. You're not really trying. And then you go back to your default position of waiting, or you're fixated on someone. And again, they're like, they're the perfect. They're the perfect. But there's no activity being generated. I should look elsewhere. I don't like anyone else. They all suck. I still want that one. Maybe it's time to leave the village. I don't know. Okay, let's get off this topic of this. Let's focus on some tower, anything that might be unexpected, and this could apply to any area of your life. Show me the tower, please. Show me the tower. Show me the tower for Capricorn over the next several months. Show me. Show me the tower, please. Show me the tower, please. Show me the tower, please. Show me the tower. Show me the tower. Sometimes some people, honey, fall in love more with the idea of romantic love as opposed to actually applying the love. Sometimes it just feels, I don't know, for some people, that longing for love can be so romantic to people that they would rather be that person that looks out at the sea cliff waiting for their perfect person than actually engaging with anyone in reality, because people in reality sometimes don't measure up to such a strong vision, you know? I like how you say you wouldn't hesitate to take action so long it was ideal or perfect and balanced and my sun and my star. On those conditions, Christina, I wouldn't hesitate. Nobody else is rocking that particular boat for you. So, the thing is, are you giving them a chance? Do you have something that's way too strong in your head about what you think love's supposed to look like? That's it. Ooh. That's a tower. That's a big old tower. That's a big old nasty tower too. And you're in it. You are 100% in it. You have walls, literally, Capricorn, that you have built up that actually cause you a great deal of frustration and let you down personally. It looks like it's a repeating tower. Okay. And it's not pretty. It's not. You're directly in there. Okay. This is what we need to understand. For some of you, yes, it's not an offense, so don't take it as one, but you can see how you're directly involved in your own sense of frustration and pain. It's repeating towers for you, walls, over and over again. This is something that you've experienced many times. I mean, you showed me a lot of waiting. A lot. And I know what I'm looking for, but it's, unfortunately for you, buddy, it's not you. Let's go back to waiting. So again, are you being selective? Or do you have unreasonable standards? Or do you have this, or are you holding out for this concept of perfection that's just not realistic? Okay. Like I said, sometimes it's much easier to romanticize someone than actually see them as a real person. Because when there is some engagement here, you're like, that's just not what I want. Okay. So it's something to think about. That's pretty serious. You're directly involved in that. It causes you a great deal of frustration and pain. Okay. It does not feel good. And I don't want that for you. This is something we need to understand with the tower, process it, and allow the walls to come down. But of course, look at you resisting that notion intensely. Show me judgment, please. Show me judgment, please. Show me judgment, please. Show me judgment, please. Show me judgment. Show me judgment. Show me judgment. Page of Cups. Death. The Sun. Oh, baby, I couldn't make it any more blunt. That which you say makes you happy. That you know you would not hesitate so long it was just right, just perfect. That's what you need to understand. That's a false sun. This is what we need to understand here in the judgment. You're not actually keeping your heart open at all. Okay? And that's why you haven't been happy. Okay? We're not actually keeping our heart open, despite what we say we're doing. We're searching endlessly for, again, either perfection or what we really understand love is supposed to look like. Now, I get it. The local villagers may not be attractive. So if that's the case, and if you really gave them a fair shot and you believe you did, then it's time to expand outwards. But I don't want you to unless you know your heart is actually open to imperfection, to real human experience, because you are too. I know that's hard to believe, but you are indeed, my dear, human, and you have imperfections too. Okay? It's a good thing to hold out, but it's not a good thing to hold out when it works against you. And it causes you more harm than good. Big difference. Okay? Big difference between having standards and unrealistic standards. And also the same applies even if you are that Capricorn who's focusing in on one person. It clearly can't be perfect if it causes you that much agony. So whether you are fixated on one person and you think they're perfect and it's not coming through, or you're looking for perfection and by now we need to learn that doesn't exist. Either way, these are false premises. And if you are that Capricorn who's so fixated on one, it can't be perfect then. By definition, it can't be perfect. Look at your reaction to it. I'll try these other cups out. They all suck. I'm not taking them seriously. Let's go back to waiting for this one. For some of you, yes, that's the case. But I strongly suspect it's a mix of you. You were not actually, you say you're keeping your heart open, you're not. And this is why we have not reached our actual sense of happiness. Our sense of happiness is not correct. Okay. This is what we need to understand. And there's some towers here that you need to personally deconstruct. You're so good at waiting and showing patience. Do that for you first. Okay? You're not waiting on anyone, honey. You're really waiting on you. Okay. This one is incredibly short. Incredibly short. And it's funny because I'm feeling the sensitivity towards it, and I don't know or if you picked up on the fact that I'm trying to be very sensitive in this one. Okay. And for a good reason. It's sensitivity. It's sensitive to talk about these kind of things. But yeah, and it's in that process of my being honest with you, but sensitive towards you. It feels much longer on my end of things. It does. But it's not. Your message was actually incredibly succinct today. Very much in alignment. In that respect, if it had one major concern and repeating lesson. And here's the thing. I see most of this happening over the course of the spring. And the sooner we understand, when we say we're trying out options and looking at love, we're not really. We're not keeping our heart open to it. You don't authorize any viable movement to justify that thinking at all. We need to have a stronger understanding of the sun, what actually makes you happy, and not what you have convinced yourself will make you happy. Okay. Can I see some advice, please, for Capricorn? Can I see advice, please, for Capricorn? Show me some advice, please, for Capricorn. Show me advice, please. Oh. Hello. If you were listening to your intuition, you would see that you were waiting. But as it were, you cannot see that. Waiting on what? The ideal one, the best one, the passionate one. And that's if you resonate. Just because it says Capricorn in the title doesn't mean it's for you, okay? So it doesn't resonate at all. This is also normal. Check your other placements, or I'll catch you on the next one, okay? I very much want to see progress for you. Very much so. I never encourage people to wait on anyone as it is. And even then, I can't say that. I know you think you might be waiting on someone else, the perfect one, or someone specific, but it's really you. You're waiting on you. Okay. Your spirit wants to move forward. Your heart wants to move forward. Very much. And you're kind of like, but my impressions of perfection have not been met, so how can I possibly move forward? So you're waiting on you. Okay. Advice, the Empress, the Star, Justice. What you want is achievable, but it also means really being open to love. So the Empress surpasses all in this respect. Highly productive, unconditional love. Unconditional. Isn't afraid to give. She's not afraid to give because she knows she'll get back. There is someone who can get very close to that criteria. Very close. But it requires you being empowered as the Empress. The Empress and the Emperor, it's not just the Emperor, by the way, about self-empowerment. The Empresses, too, they are each other's divine counterparts. She's all about self-empowerment, too. Knowing her worth and knowing that she is open to love, not cut off from it. That's what makes the Empress, but also highly productive for that reason. She is a wealth of productivity, beauty, grace, and unconditional love. You do not have to be female. It's about the energy of the thing. So if you want all that gorgeousness thrust upon you, you yourself have to exude it first. If you say you're open, then be open. Because right now that heart space isn't really. Okay? Otherwise, yeah, you can actually get quite close to that. For sure. Oh. Emphasis on the Fool. But try to fly out in reverse. Not as willing to take risks. Anything else, please? Six of Wands, confidence, Nine of Swords, okay. It's kind of like if I move away from what I've known, it will stress me out, and I've always had confidence, Christina, in this kind of method or thinking, and it would require me to move away from that, and it would stress me out, okay. You want to feel seen, you want to feel confident, and we kind of got to move away from that, you know, because I know that you feel that you have confidence in your particular strategy and how you operate from things, but do you really? Because ultimately it doesn't feel good. There's something here about the ego that keeps you in place, saying that this method is correct, when it's not. It seems to cause you more harm than good. And we should never ever put ourselves in a position of ever waiting on someone without damn good justification. And that goes more so, doubly so, for ourselves. Okay. All right. Is there an energy here potentially that could match or get very close, I should say, to what it is that you shall desire? Yes. But you have to achieve it within you first in order to attract that. It's actually quite simple. I know you wouldn't hesitate. It's kind of like if it was the best, Christina, I wouldn't hesitate. So maybe you become this first. Okay? Be open to love, life, and the glory of it all, you know? Switch on over, please, to the Yin Yang Oracle. Shoulder's doing a lot better. Oh, still clicks a little bit, but I have a lot more free range of movement, I'll tell you that right now. Whew! Speaking of which, I'm going to the gym after I wrap the earth sign. So, it feels good. It feels good to be back into the swing of things, yeah? Ace of Cups, the shadow side, the moon, rejection, loss, honey. Honey. You have shadows in your heart. The secret things. Your shadow side, okay, that's in direct opposition to the ego side that says this is how we have to do it, I have pride in myself. The Empress doesn't need to say that, she just is. When we look at your heart space with that Ace of Cups comes the shadow side, and what's within your shadow side is rejection, loss, Three of Swords. You're afraid of being hurt, you're afraid of being rejected. So you kind of reject others before they can do it to you. And then you insist upon this idea of it needs to be perfection. They have flaws, so that can't be right. You have flaws too. It's part of that shadow side that we need to look at, and it's one of the things that's in your tower, and that hurts you, and it keeps you isolated from love, and it keeps you from experiencing love the way that you should and need to, and in a realistic way, in a human way. It keeps you from moving. That shadow side, what if I'm rejected? Fear of loss. What if I actually love it? What if I do find perfection and then it just hurts me? Again, it's not perfection then. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. Really. You know? So that's why I think you hold out. That's why I think you hold a candle to the wind. Okay? That's why I think you live your life by the seaside, waiting for that perfect, the ideal, the fantasy. It's because it's easier than having real human experiences where you could get hurt. That's something we need to look at. Or we pin all our hopes on one person, forsaking anyone else, convinced that that one person is it, when clearly they're not. Clearly they're not. Or you'd have them by now. Don't you think? Yours is a good example where I'd like to take a look at your inner child. We're not doing inner child work today. I think that's a good idea, though. I'd like to see what's going on with your inner child that has led you up to this, and that's if you resonate. And if you don't, there you go, done. This is what I see for you over the next several months, and it's the very things that you need to address the most. Okay? So please do not put yourself in any more situations where you might be tempted to try out your love space if this resonates with you, because there's things that you need to look at within yourself first. Okay? Because it's just going to create more pressure in you, and it's going to create more fear in you when you are going to find yourself yet again in a situation where you're rejecting someone that you're supposed to meant to get to know. Okay? Excuse me. Limitations, fears, yes. Yeah. Party external. Okay. Even though it's over, it's not. For some of you, this is, again, I'm not digging into the past. That's it. I'm not doing that. But I will put those pieces together for you if you'd like. Well, actually, I will, since I'm here. And I said I explore it in as much as it makes sense. So, the limitations card came out in reverse, and fears, and a third-party external stuff came out in reverse as well. So even though it might have been a situation that happened long ago and far away, you never really recovered from it for some of you. And you think it doesn't limit you. You think it's not a source of your fears anymore. Yeah, it is. For some of you, very much so. We never got over particular interferences that hurt us. And this could have gone back to childhood in terms of betrayal. That's what I'm talking about, that inner child stuff. Because this is a long-term thing. This didn't happen overnight. But yes, some of you experienced limitations and fears based on interference and not good things from the past. That's technically over, but you're not technically over. Okay? But there you go. You think it doesn't limit you. You think it doesn't interfere with how you engage with others. Obviously, that's not true. So again, there's that idea of I'm looking for perfection and we're not finding it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. And it causes you harm. The thing is you don't quite see it. So that's where I want to get you, honey, is into the shadow side. Why do you fear rejection so much? Okay. What's going on in there? Okay. A butterfly. Transformations do, of course. Cassette, you replace something over and over again, specifically outdated thinking. Outdated thinking. Conditioning, replaying events over and over again in your head. That's the stuff we need to look at. Healthy choices. I know you want to make healthy choices in love and in life. And it's kind of like a really strong reaction to something negative from the past. It's like, this is what I experienced. I'm going to swing hard in the opposite direction and insist that that's correct. And this is it. This is perfection as I understand it. Neither way is good. Who was it? Aristotle? My favorite philosopher. He said you're not meant to live here and you're not meant to live here. You have to be somewhere in between. Because when you live in extremes, you get extreme results. I don't know what the other side of that extreme was for you once upon a time, but I can see the other extreme for you today. You don't have the love you want. And you won't give yourself permission to really look at it or explore it or open yourself up to it. And that doesn't feel good either. Passion. Girl with a snake. Okay. You feel like you're afraid, especially if you have strong passion for somebody, that you might be used, okay? That you might be hurt, take you for granted, and that you might have a history of enabling others, okay? And this is the very thing that we need to transform. Double transformation, the butterfly as well as the phoenix. One is soft transformation and one is hard transformation. The butterfly takes time and it's very soft. The phoenix tends to be very blunt. It lights fire and then drops to ashes and is reborn once more. And so some of you have been trying to softly transition through this, and you might reach peak. You might reach peak where it might be more like the time of the phoenix. Okay. New phase. Renew. Full transformation. Palm tree, and then find your stability and security within that Empress energy, yeah? All right, that's enough. Let's pull some charms. Let's do something right here, though. This is an oracle deck. I don't remember what it's called. I don't know. Ask me in the comments, and I'll go look for it, because I'll forget. I promise. I'll forget. Yeah, I don't remember which oracle deck this is, but it's interesting. Show me. Forgive. Full moon in Pisces. To forgive. Forgive yourself. Forgive others that hurt you. Forgive. Time for forgiveness, which I know is easier said than done. But if you are well and truly tired of waiting, you well and truly want the love that you want and deserve. Okay? Forgiveness has the implication of healing. You don't have to forgive your enemies or the people who hurt you, but you can forgive yourself. Okay? Forgiveness is a difficult thing. And I know it sounds very brave and noble to toss around that phrase, forgive and forget, forgive and forget. Well, that's not necessarily true. There's some people that you can genuinely, truly, legitimately not forgive. That's absolutely true. You don't have to go around flying, well, I forgive you, because that means, A, probably you don't mean it. You just want it to be true. And then, B, do they deserve it? But if it's one of those things where it's a simple offense in this life, a common mistake, yeah, there's a good chance you can forgive the other person. And if you want to do that, you have to begin with you first. Everything begins with the self. You need to forgive yourself before you can forgive others. And you can say, I didn't do anything wrong, I didn't do anything wrong. Then what has led you up to this day? And I don't mean wrong as in judgment called bad. I mean, what has led you up to this day? Engaging with people, places, things, situations that hurts you. And you did it anyway. You have to forgive yourself. And when you do that, that's when you step into the Empress energy. You don't suddenly become a better person because you quote-unquote meet the one or the perfect one. No. No. You become the Empress by forgiving yourself and being compassionate, learning from mistakes, and say, I won't do it again, and this is how. I'm prepared. So for some of you, yes, forgiveness. It could be that you are the Capricorn. who introduced strong pain to other people. Okay? In which case you still need to forgive yourself. Alright? For any one thing we can accuse someone else of, I promise you, there's someone else out there that can accuse you of the same thing. We all have our reasons. We all have our justifications. That doesn't mean we're right, doesn't mean we're wrong, but it does mean we have work to do. Okay? Forgiveness is going to be a critical thing. In order for you to accept the love that you want and actually pursue it in a way that's healthy and non-judgmental and not discriminatory, you are going to have to forgive yourself. If you want to accept the love you want, you have to know that you're worthy of it. Okay? And so what do? We delude ourselves. That person's it and only that person. That's a delusion. It keeps us from focusing on ourselves and fixing ourselves if we're convinced that person is the source or object of our love, when they're clearly proven to have not been. Or you become fixated to this idea of perfect love, and guess what? It doesn't exist. So you keep not engaging with real opportunities with people. Again, it's a form of delusion, self-deception. Keeps us protected from our worst fears, but not really. It's not protection when it causes you harm. So forgiveness here is going to be critical for you. New moon in Virgo. Trust all will be well. Let's see. Yeah. By next Virgo season, hopefully, we are feeling better. So the new moons happen within the season. The full moons happen in the opposing season. So right now, we are under the influence of the full moon in Virgo. The new moon won't be till Virgo season. So trust all will be well. Let's look at forgiveness. Let's look at our shadow signs, our secret selves, see what's going on in there, kick its ass, take some names, come out the other side the victor. I want what you want. I want what you want. But even if the universe delivered unto you this concept of perfection, there's a good chance you'd still reject it. Happens all the time. I'm sure you've heard me say it before. When the universe tries to give us what's in our best interest, and we're like, oh, I know, I know I want new. I know I want new. I know I want a powerful connection. And the universe is like, okay, here you go. What do? No, that's not what I asked for. That's not what I asked for at all. And we reject things because we're actually not ready. You're not ready. So even if you met the idea of perfection, there's a good chance you wouldn't allow yourself to accept it. I don't want that for you. What you want is beautiful, and it's natural, and it's actually plausible. Even the advice reflected it. It's plausible, but that means actually having an open heart and not having tunnel vision of what you think real love is, or happy, healthy is. It is actually plausible for you, but you have to love you first. Very much so. Oh, don't forget, we often accept the love we think we're worth. And I see you rejecting it. Okay? All right. Oh boy. This one's going to be a toughie, huh? In terms of reception. I'm 53 minutes deep, honey. There's no going back. There's no going back. If you don't like it, that's fine. It's okay. You know, tarot for me is not a popularity contest. All right? I deliver messages, even when they're not the easiest. Okay? 2 M's. M, M, and F. And then the gecko. Indicative 2. Aries, Leo, Sag, of course. But also kind of like I was saying, that hot foot. Moving fast. Being able to move fast, not staying in one place. The arrow of Sag, snowflake, time of winter, and then also, of course, Scorpio. Any of these signs you might have had some sort of involvement with that are confirmation for some of these elements that I've been speaking to. The wreath, time of gift giving, so December might have been important, the holidays in the general sense, and then also at world's end of last year. So towards the end of the year might have been important for some reason. The Deer, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, the tentativeness, the shyness, the hesitation, the reservation. Okay. All right. Anything else here, please? Oh, just one. That was it. D. Okay. FMMD. Okay, Capricorn, honey, I hope this helped you. I know it was a rough one. It's okay. We all get them from time to time, yes? The next round of readings will be 2 weeks, obviously, for everyone. And that will be the Intimate Tarot, a channel favorite here at Sassy Scorpion Tarot. So hopefully we'll tune into that and I can see other things for you. That would be nice. All right. Put in the comments as you see fit. You guys take care. Be well.